I felt like Shannon was playing in my face. And he eventually turned the corner, but then at the end of the interview, like he just, like, I don't know, just kind of like chilling. Me and Shannon were flirting. Ma'am, if you don't get all the way out of here with that bullshit, please don't insult me. And that was offensive. That was highly offensive. And it makes me wonder if you know when people are flirting with you. So when I left the interview, I just was very like kind of not sure how it was going to play out. And I knew that he had played himself in the interview in a number of ways. And so I knew that he would, they would probably edit some of it out. So that's how I felt. Have you seen his prior interviews? He's very welcoming and bubbly. The door is open. Folks talk uninterrupted. He allows them to be a safe space. The producer told me I would be in a safe space and told me, I would be supported. So that's what I expected. He didn't behave with me like he has not behaved with anybody else like he did with me. So that's why I did the interview. Okay. Any other questions? You know what? I don't feel like it showed so it's weird when we talk about like truth, right? Like, so yes, like I got to speak honestly about certain things, but I don't feel like it showed my truth because it showed me in defense mode. And I don't exist in defense mode. So, it put me on my heels a little bit where I felt like I had to, just kind of do a lot more explaining, and it was a bit exhausting, like mentally. So, just like I had to really like kind of manage the interview, and that's really different. Now it's beautiful, like when you get to do interviews where you really get to just be like, you feel like you're liberated in the conversation. And to be honest, when I did the Jason Lee interview, like that's how I felt. Like the Jason Lee interview just felt really, I mean, like he's going to throw some messiness at you, but he didn't press you on it. And it just didn't feel like I was having to, really use like all of my syntax, like all of my synapse to like navigate. But nonetheless, and I feel like something I learned from watching it was that I have a tendency to, like my mom is very pessimistic. Like she'll always go the negative route. And I saw it play out on the episode because there were times where he would ask me a question and I would be about to give like a positive answer, but then he would throw a negative spin on it. And then I would just follow that lead. And that is something I need to be more mindful of, just in the future in general, because I shouldn't be letting somebody like lead me down that road. So many of y'all have been on my head like, don't you ever go on that platform again. So I will, I will not. I did have regret because I felt like I had made a big mistake in like sharing so much and just being so kind of just my full unmasked, like honest self. And then that turned by the end of the day because I'm trying not to look at comments, but I was looking at the DMs and so many of you all felt so seen in the interview and you felt like you had somebody that was speaking your truth. And so that made it all the worthwhile, like completely made it all the worthwhile. And, yeah, so no, I don't regret it anymore. In the beginning of the day, like I literally had to step away from the radio show and cry and come back because I just felt like I was so hyper focused. I literally didn't eat today. Like I just realized this. I have to go eat. There were some things cut out. It was cut out when he said to me, it seems like you think that anytime someone doesn't agree with you that they're racist. And I said, well, I mean, it's too early in this conversation to say that. And he said, no, I said, like, what in this conversation would make you feel that way? And he said, well, I feel that way because you just talked about autism being racism, and you just talked about your teacher being racist. And so then I explained the racism attached to autism diagnoses and why it's like so difficult for people to get clinical diagnoses from because it's like $10,000. And also because as a Black woman, you're oftentimes misdiagnosed. And then they cut out where I said to him, like, didn't you leave your last job because of racism? And he was like, and they also cut out when I spoke about Palestine, even though briefly, they cut out when I spoke about Palestine. And they cut out at the end, he was asking, no, I have not been clinically diagnosed by a doctor because I'm not paying $10,000 to do that. And most people will tell you that at this age, you don't need a clinical diagnosis in that sense. And I think that's the other thing. It's like, we are so conditioned here in this nation to really only consider something in one kind of way. And I will get back to that. The other thing that they cut out is he was saying that what's it called? Hold on. He was saying that I guess Caitlyn Jenner said basically that she said like good riddance, I guess, when OJ died. And he was asking me about that. And I said, and he was like, how do you feel about that? And I was like, I mean, I don't really know, but he was like, I just don't think we should celebrate when people die. And I was like, well, I mean, when the Queen died, I definitely was like, good riddance. And he was like, oh, I'm just not that kind of person. I just not that kind of person. I wouldn't do that. And I was like, so you telling me that if you went back in time and you had the capability to see your former enslave, your people's enslaver put in the ground, you wouldn't do a little fist pump? He was like, nah, I wouldn't do it. I wasn't raised that way. I said, shit, I was. So that was that. Yeah, I do. Do I think people feel intimidated by you? Yeah, and it's unfortunate because it's like uncomfortable and it just makes it feel like you got to do shit to make people feel comfortable. And then sometimes you do shit to make people feel comfortable and then they feel some type of way that you're doing shit to make people feel comfortable. So it's like you can't win. I don't feel trapped in the system anymore. And I feel like this interview really helped me to like propel myself out of that system too. I meant it when I said, like, I burnt bridges today, and I did that on purpose. And I burnt bridges yesterday too. Like, well, they had already burnt the bridges. I just, sparked the last timbers of it all because I'm just not having it no more. Yeah, I would absolutely do Sherry, Jennifer Hudson, or Tamron. I've done Tamron before. I spoke to Tamron the other day. I've never met Jennifer, but Sherry is the homie too. But, I just need to take a break from just being in the mix like that. And I'm going to be on this tour, so get your tickets. That's really it. My goal in the entertainment industry moving forward is to not be a part of the entertainment industry. I want to just be liberated completely. I want to exist as Amanda Seales. Like, I don't want to have... I don't even want to have this title of comedian or actress or etc. Like, I just really want to exist as Amanda Seales, and like folks are just kind of going along with or taking in, just the different creative ventures that I'm putting out there as they see fit. And that's what I really want to do. I don't want to exist within any of these boxes that I had to put myself in order to make it.
Yeah. Big JTV. Like, comment, subscribe. Like, comment, subscribe. I'm very sorry that y'all had to listen to that. Y'all had to listen to... by the way, like the video just come in. You had to listen to a malignant narcissist. And for me, I had a rough time trying to really point out what Amanda Seales is. But what she is a malignant narcissist. Y'all pull out your Googles, and I'm going to read here what it says according to verywellhealth.com. What is a malignant narcissist? So a malignant narcissist is a psychological disorder in which a person has an inflated sense of self-worth, a need for admiration, and a disregard for others. They experience paranoia, feeling threatened or persecuted without proof, and are aggressive, manipulative, and abusive without remorse. That's what she is, man. That's the definition of what Amanda Seales is to her core. Because this is not a good person, man. Ironically, she's the type of person who would have gotten Emmett Till hung up and killed. She's the type of person who will say an accusation against a man with no solid proof and ruin his reputation and his career. Oh, my bad, she already did that. She already did that with Myron Roll. My bad. I almost forgot. Well, what has happened to her? Absolutely nothing. This woman has not spent a day in jail, a second in jail, has not been persecuted by the law for making false claims, has not apologized for any of her bad behavior. This is a horrible human being, man. And what makes this even worse and even more terrible is the fact that, she had this interview with Shannon Sharp, which I'm going to keep it real right now. Shannon Sharp is on fire. And why is he on fire? Is because his interviews are not based 100% on journalism. He's a conversationalist, as he says. Right? And the art of having a conversation, the art of being likable, the art of being somebody who gets along with people, that's actually a skill. That's not just, that sometimes not even more than a skill. It's literally a talent. Some people getting along and being able to be likable, have charisma, have charm, be funny. All those things are, of course, natural, but they also can be skilled and honed in order for you to get ahead in an industry like Hollywood. Now, I'll be real with you. Hollywood is a weird industry, man. It's borderline satanic. I'm not going to get into that on YouTube because it is YouTube. I'm not going to get into that. Right? I don't know Shannon as a person. I'm just a viewer. I'm a fan of his content, and I'm a fan of some of his takes. He says some wild out-of-pocket-ish about Lamar Jackson. I really don't like when Unc says that. He has some, weird habits. Dude used to eat raccoons back in the country. It's weird. Dude has some very suspect relationship advice. He's borderline the black, black male Wendy Williams. Because let's keep it real, man. Dude is very much a gossiper. He likes to stir the pot. There's a lot of things wrong with Shannon, right? But guess what Shannon isn't, man? He's not a malignant narcissist. Shannon is a likable person. Shannon is warm and kind to his guests. He usually has great, absolutely phenomenal interviews. What happened with Cat Williams was the actions of Cat Williams. But guess what? If Cat Williams had went to another interviewer, such as Willie D, it wouldn't have gone as viral. Why didn't it go as viral? Because he literally had an interview with Willie D. It did not go viral because Willie D does not have the personality, the charm, the people skills that Shannon does. And I like Willie D. Willie D is a smart, educated, really solid dude, and a great content creator in my point of view. See, Amanda Seales is the opposite of that. She's the opposite of a person with people skills. She is an unlikable, insufferable person. I promise you, almost all of her boyfriends broke up with her. I promise you, they were all most likely cheating on her. I promise you, any male who spends more than, I'm adding women into this, man, who spends more than 10 minutes with this woman is actually losing a part of their life. And I'm going off on this bitch because that's what she is, man. And this is what we have in society. Unfortunately, she has a following and she has people who support her, right? And the issue here is that she mixes a lot of the truth with the BS. Her advocacy and, her activism with black issues in terms of racism, discrimination, and all these things. To be honest, I agree with her on a lot of those things, man. I agree with her on the points of being misunderstood. You can definitely be misunderstood. You know what I mean? But what I don't relate with her is falling out with everybody all the time. I don't relate to that. I don't relate to being insufferable. I don't relate to being, a piece of trash to people, dog. I don't relate to that. I treat people well. I try to treat people like I would want to be treated. But when you're a malignant narcissist, you don't see other people like that, dog. And that's why Shannon was not necessarily arguing with her in the interview. He was trying to give a perspective, a different point of view. But when you're, again, a malignant narcissist, you have an inflated sense of self-worth, a need for admiration and disregard for others. So in her mind, she disregards anything Shannon says because she has an inflated self-worth, man. She thinks she's God. She thinks that Shannon's just an idiot. When Shannon, he himself went from being a multi-millionaire football player, right? Multi-millionaire sports analyst, anchor, and now he's on a third career as an interviewer. I wouldn't be surprised if Shannon becomes, touches $1 billion at some point. He might even do that. He has Shannon Media, man. Like it takes a certain level of wisdom, right, to be able to get to that level. It doesn't mean that you have to have book smarts. No, you have to have at least a level of street smarts in order to treat people well, so that for them to put you in a position. That's intelligence, social intelligence, emotional intelligence. This woman is a malignant narcissist. She don't have no intelligence in those parts, dog. She's retarded. And I don't even know if I can put that word on YouTube. I might bleep it out. It is what it is. You know what I mean? And that's the issue. But anyways, man, she wrote this head-ass thing on her Instagram 2 days ago. I was a little busy, so I couldn't, have commented on it. But, basically, she's describing an interaction that Shannon saying, but have you been clinically diagnosed? Me, yes. There's a clinical diagnosis for autism. He then hung his head and exhaled in frustration because I did not answer his question. This is called deflection. Why? Because I was not going to be pressured by this man who was interrogating me with absolutely zero love for me into providing something to him that by his line of questioning, he had already committed to undermining. I understand my response may be confusing to some, but I am clarifying it as I did in my live, and that is enough. By the way, she's referring to the live I just put at the beginning of the video. By the way, shout out to the YouTuber. Yeah, I'm Stacy. That's where I got the clip from. He had a great take and analysis on this as well. Y'all check out his channel. But what I'm saying here is she lied about autism. Her being diagnosed of autism by a doctor. She self-diagnosed herself. Now, is it possible she has autism? Yes. But the most likely scenario is she's just a piece of trash that doesn't take any accountability and reflection on what she has done and how she contributes to her having issues with everybody. That's why let me tell you something, man. If I had autism, I would be so insulted by this. I'd feel so disrespected because you're using a serious diagnosis, a serious issue, illness, as an excuse for your bad behavior. That's not only pathetic, that's sad, and it's incredibly disrespectful. But when you're a malignant narcissist, it's all good. Everything goes because you're a piece of trash. Let's have less people like this in the world, man. And you know what? Me, I love my black women. I understand why black women relate to her. Because a lot of black women feel misunderstood. They feel like they've been, felt deflection, disrespect, all these things. Absolutely. And for the most part, black women are correct. That's why Amanda Seales has a big fan base of black women. But the thing is, the women are so loyal to this toxic person that it's sad, really. It's sad. This is a lost, confused, toxic woman. And any presence, any man or even woman that spends any time in her presence, you will lose something. You will lose something. You're catching it now. But let me know what y'all think in the comments, man. I went hard on this woman for the past 10 minutes. I'm even getting exhausted talking about it, man. I'm gonna go have some water and chill, man. Big JTV, like, comment, sub. Let me know how y'all feel in the comments. I'm out.